Hi, it's Derek J from Free Talk Live and Anypay. I'm bringing you an interview with Ivan from HandCash. He's out in Spain making the world's best BSV wallet. It's actually a wallet I can recommend using. Handcash.io is their website, and it works really well with Anypay because of a new integration using an existing feature in Bitcoin that has really been latent for all these years. BitPay used it for a while, as I learned in this interview, but a lot of people didn't like it. The experience wasn't good. And so Yvonne and Steven have been working together, as well as other people at HandCash, to make the user experience when you use Bitcoin at a business better than any other experience, better than credit cards, better than handing over cash, because it's digital cash and it's programmable money. It's Bitcoin the way it was meant to be. And so if you're someone who loves Bitcoin and loves freedom, then you're really going to love this Anypay update. Have a listen.
We implemented a protocol for making payments really efficient and simple with HandCash when you pay at Anypay.
Let me put some context to this. Okay, Anypay is an app where you can accept Bitcoin easily at your business. It's mostly for small businesses to want to accept Bitcoin to do that. And we've been using Anypay here in Portsmouth, New Hampshire for a while to go to the salad store and buy juices and croissants and stuff like that. And so we've had a great experience using HandCash to pay, but now it's even better. And why is that? What's different about the way you pay with HandCash now, Ivan?
Well, what changed until recently is that now we've built like direct bridge, right? Anypay is talking directly with HandCash, and transactions are not going through miners network first, right? So first, that's like we technically we implemented Bip270 idea from a few years ago, but what that really means is like we talk to each other. Transaction is giving directly to the receiver. And on that communication, a lot of extra things can be attached, like metadata that is being displayed in the wallet. Also, the speed is massively improved. And on top of it, this scales much better, right? Because Anypay's part, when it's getting a transaction, doesn't really need a full node, doesn't need nothing. It gets a transaction, it can verify it, and just proxy the exact outputs to the stores, right? To the owner, to their wallet. So it's a massive simplification in technical sense, but also massive improvement in user experience because it's much faster and it can be even from here on massively more improved.
What I love about it from the user's perspective is now Anypay is talking to HandCash, and we can communicate all kinds of things, such as like what kind of pictures and information do we want to display.
If I can understand what's actually happening, you're talking about it being more peer-to-peer than Bitcoin typically is. Typically, I sign and broadcast a transaction from my wallet. It goes out to the network, and then someone like Anypay is listening, like, "Oh, did that transaction happen?" And then we say, "Oh yeah, it did. Okay, we got it." But instead, this is the actual user's wallet. The customer's wallet is sending to Anypay a composed transaction. It's ready to be broadcast, but then Anypay is actually the one that broadcasts and says, "Hey world, this happened." And since Anypay is the one broadcasting it, it's instant. It's so much faster than listening for that message.
Exactly. This is exactly what's going on here. This is, if you think about it, how cash works. And if we look about a Bitcoin white paper, if you read it, it says it's digital cash, right? And whenever we try to mimic cash use cases, like physically, if I would have a $10 bill, I would give it to you, right? I don't need any intermediary in this process.
Right.
While it's being digital, in this sense, we still need a settlement layer. Like at least imagine this like in a way, if you're collecting bills, in the end you still go to the bank and put them inside, right? So it's something like that, right? We give money directly, transaction cash directly to the receiver, and he takes care that this gets to the miners network, right? It's not, we don't use miners network as intermediary because that's not peer-to-peer, and it doesn't scale.
Now, is this something new, or is this something that was described in the white paper?
If we read white paper, it's obviously talking about peer-to-peer cash, which is exactly what we're doing, right? But the more direct proof is in the Bitcoin client. Satoshi's version, when he introduced it to the world, had a feature which was called IP to IP, where you would, instead of address, actually put an IP of the receiver. And receiver would have to be online, and he would get the transaction, and then the receiver would broadcast it. So it's the same concept. And it was actually implemented. The problem with this was it wasn't completely finished. It wasn't completely safe. Man in the middle attack could be executed. So some guys decided to just delete it, like it never existed.
Oh no. Is this something that has been done before?
Yeah, famously, BitPay made this a requirement for BTC and BCH, and a lot of people were upset because they probably didn't understand this peer-to-peer nature, and so a lot of wallets didn't support it. They still used the mining network as an intermediary. They eventually removed it, but it still is around in a lot of wallets. The reasons they did that because they can talk peer-to-peer, they were able to reduce errors by nearly 100% because all errors were rejected.
Right. And what a terrible experience it is when you're requesting 0.01 Bitcoin and someone sends 0.00999999. I mean, that's not the same thing. And so it's so disappointing to get the wrong amount, but this can't happen. So, wow, this is an awesome update. Thanks so much, Ivan. Is there anything else that you think it's important for people to know?
Maybe just a little emphasis on returning back to the roots and try to use Bitcoin as cash, right? And in its most raw form, right?
Amen. That's my dream. I mean, at Anypay, we're all about making Bitcoin used as money, helping Bitcoin be used as money in the real world. This is the money I want to use for my life. And I don't know about you.
Absolutely.
Totally.
It's great. It's like a child's dream, right? You can program the money, right? if you're a developer, right? You could never do that before, basically.
It's really
And anyone
cool.
can do it. Yeah.
And this makes it way easier to program the money with the payment protocol. So it's going to be even easier for new developers to make something interesting and make their idea come to life with HandCash.
Thank you, Ivan.
Thank you. It
Ciao.
was a pleasure.